Hello and welcome to Any Given Monday. It is a revised version. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going on here. I This is our first time doing Any Given Monday without a guest. And so I was a little nervous and a little concerned about doing that, but I wanted to talk to you about the pivot. And the reason that's so important is because as a business owner, I often find myself looking at what am I doing? Why are we doing it? And who are we helping? And so with this pivot, the focus has been who have we been helping and how can we help them more? So if you don't know about N18, we provide leadership development on and off of the golf course. So we literally build leaders on and off of the golf course. What does that look like? It can entail training, coaching. We also work with groups and organizations around leadership development and coming up with strategies that help them execute their strategic plan by just helping to reorganize their workforce. But the more that we started working on these different projects, there were a few emergent themes. And some of those themes were around what will we talk about and what do we want you to talk about? So for the past few months, I've been being the guest speaker for events. And most recently, I was a guest speaker at Women in the Black, hosted by Princess Jenkins. At that event, I spoke about leading like a lady. And I thought this was an interesting topic because it allowed me to really hone in on what makes our individual stories so unique, but why they're so powerful when we're going to speak to others or influence others. And I was really excited by that. So hopefully you're joining and listening in. You're like, well, what is your pivot? I will also share my presentation, which allows you to kind of see. So the company profile is some in the same, pretty much the same. We provide a suite of leadership development services and the executive coaching and leadership development. It's not a unique option. I mean, there are a lot of coaches out there. There are a lot of people providing leadership development. However, our niche is very specific. We are looking at leaders that are or that were previously individual contributors that are now leading teams. We are also focused on leaders that need to find different ways to motivate their team and are looking for greater ways to hone in on their interpersonal skills. Our coaching work is very custom. It is designed to help people perform better together, but with the understanding that all workplaces are not positive spaces. And how do we look at our individual stories to help move the projects along or think about things from the perspective of the leadership team and how do we generate more revenue. But it's also true for individual business owners. So how do we help people become more successful? So our focus has been specifically around soft skills, relationship management, which is why we love golf as that tool for those that leverage golf in their careers, social engineering, which has been a topic that people don't necessarily discuss. We're really looking at how are you leveraging your networks. I myself have struggled with this. I know a tremendous number of people, but I've never actually asked for help. And when I do, perhaps I'm not asking in a specific enough way that allows that person to really lean in and help people. Because generally, people are helpful. I myself am helpful. I want to help people. I want them to succeed. And this is not always the truth, and it's not always the case for everyone, but the majority of people are helpful. We also are looking at emotional intelligence and social capital strategy. So looking at your network and really thinking about what kind of brand do you want for yourself, but then who do you want to be associated with and how do you want to leverage those relationships and pour into them in a way that allows you to grow your career. We have thought about the playbooks. What are the different playbooks that you can have for your business, for your career, for your customer trajectory? So we've really sat down and thought about how can we help other companies and other individuals build this skill, build this tool, and what does that coaching process look like? So essentially, that has been the pivot for us because that's the work that we've been doing the most of. Separately, just a little bit about me. My name is LJ Finney. If you don't already know, I am a certified project manager, and now I'm also a PCC certified coach. This allows me to really work with individuals and groups and dig deeper into what it is they're looking to accomplish and how they can get there. I enjoy speaking about this topic, but I enjoy speaking about a few other topics, and we'll get to that. I'm also a writer, so it's the irony is that last week I got to meet with Bruce Lucker. He was a past guest. I will be posting a few photos, and you can re-listen to that episode of Any Given Monday. And he challenged me to write a book. Now, I thought this was very intriguing, and I've taken it up for consideration, but I do trust his judgment, and I do trust his advice. So I may be writing more than what I've written in the past. Historically, I wrote about golf. solely about golf, the journey of a golfer, the conversation of traveling for golf and thinking about where you want to go to play and discovering hidden gems and communities that you may have not normally thought about for golf. So when I think about my first writing journey, it was in Las Vegas many, many years ago. I'd say at least over 15. And I was writing for African American Golfers Digest. And then in that case, I was telling the story of what is it like for a new golfer to take a golf trip, a destination golf trip, and how do you explore the different golf courses. Fast forward, I had the opportunity to write about golf in Malaysia, golf in Zihuatanejo, Mexico, and I've loved the travel golf conversation and the thoughts. If you've never taken a travel golf trip, make sure you go with other golfers. Otherwise, you'll be playing by yourself, like I did when we traveled to Thailand with my friends. But the bigger conversation around this is being able to write and tell the story from a unique perspective. What is it like for women? What is it like for a woman of color playing golf in another country? And what I will say is golf is a universal language. So I was always welcome. I was always able to play the best game that I showed up with, depending on how much jet lag I had. But when I think about my most enjoyable rounds, they were with strangers. I got to play in Spain. I was playing solo and then was able to join in with another foursome. And you may ask, what does this have to do with anything? It is about the story of golf as a networking tool. Golf is a tool for personal and professional growth, but golf is a universal tool that you can use in any country. And maybe you don't speak any language. Like when I was playing in Thailand, my caddy was a female, and I don't believe she spoke English, but we did speak golf, and she was able to help me find my ball. So bigger than that, I'm also an avid golfer. If you haven't seen our most recent celebration, myself, Sheena Pegaran, Vivian Takaski, and Kelly Roll, we were able to win the Malbon 300 Entertainment golf outing, their third annual. So I love to talk about what that strategy looks like. If I had tried to show up by myself and win that tournament, I would not have, because individually I have strong parts of my game and other parts are weak. But when you are able to assemble a powerful team, you leverage all of the best parts of each person's game. So we talk about teamwork and how golf can be a strategy for understanding, building stronger teams. But overall, I just enjoy being able to talk about those things, moderate panels, and facilitate conversations. So some of the topics that we've talked about, and this is why it's a pivot, is because we're leaning more into, or I am specifically leaning more into the opportunity to talk to groups, organizations, leaders of all levels, to help them motivate be motivated around, how do you talk about things? What are you doing in your organization? How are we leading? Who are we as leaders? Who are we as an organization? How do we want to cultivate a learning environment, a can-do environment? So we talk about defining your leadership identity. I speak about self-care is better for business. One of the things that I've recognized as a small business owner is that we don't focus on our individual health. We're often focusing on generating more revenue, getting more clients, making sure our clients are happy, but we will often deprioritize or put our families and ourselves second. And so self-care is actually better for your business, because if you don't take time to relax and rest, your body will force you to. We also talk about professional and business development, as well as professional growth on the golf course, customer service, and using it to build your brand. What I've also learned and seen in a lot of different scenarios is we've got these great businesses, but we often do not focus on the customer service aspect, and that is equally as important as delivery. We talk about building personal relationships. So if you have a topic or a conversation that you want us to come in and facilitate, me specifically, or anyone from my team, please reach out. Some of my favorite conversations were most recently in Albany at the New York State Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian and Latino caucus, was diversifying the business of golf in New York State, where I had an opportunity to moderate an amazing panel of guests. And you can look back in some of our previous posts, and I'll share some more information to just make that fresh again so you can see it. I've had the opportunity to speak with Debbie Foster, because a lot of our clients are attorneys that are leveraging golf. I think today the National Society of, or Minority Black Business Lawyers Society, I can't remember the name, they're hosting their golf tournament, the Ted Rose golf tournament at Paramount Country Club. But ultimately, what I'm saying and what I'm offering is the opportunity to really think about how do you want to motivate your team and how you want to motivate leaders. So that is really the conversation around what we're doing from a speaking perspective. So I will pause here and tell you a little bit more about the other aspects of our pivot. So one, we are speaking more. If you need to book us for speaking engagements, we are always available, as well as for moderating conversations and panels. Second, we are doubling down on transferable skills and helping leaders and organizations build up their leadership team and identify where their strengths are and where the opportunities are for additional training. Some of the most recent conversations I've had were one presenting for ICF Coaching Week, which is the International Coaching Federation, and that allows us to really think about who are the coaches that you are employing and think about what are they doing for you. So in our case, we are focused on transferable skills. We're focused on helping leaders identify other tools to lead their business. And most recently, that conversation went very well. I'm saying this because we all have transferable skills. And what I love about working with my intern team and working with the summer youth employment teams are they don't actually recognize yet what skills they have. And so being able to help them match those skills to the ideal jobs that they're looking for, it's a skill in itself, but then it's also their opportunity to build that skill for themselves. How do I see what I'm doing and translate it into another space? Many of the leaders that we work with that are looking to switch industries struggle with identifying how their skills are actually going to be leveraged in a new industry. So how do we help? We help you map your path from where you are to where you need to be or where you would like to be based on what you have been doing historically, and to be able to tell that story and document it in a way that will make you more appealing to the new market that you're looking at. So with that being said, we have been working with a number of individuals that are looking to transition into C-suite roles from executive roles. That's one. Two, we're also looking at people that are industry shifters. They want to move into a different industry and they want to take those existing skills into it. We are an advocate of the green economy. We're really focused on how can we move leaders from one space into another, like the green economy, looking at renewables and sustainable energy. We are actually hosting a conference in 2025 focused specifically on social impact and the green economy. Why? Because as a person that studied STEM, I see the missed opportunities and understand that there is an opportunity to solve it. So there's a missed opportunity, but then there's a new opportunity looking at what can we solve. We had historically been focused on areas of development where there's not a lot of conversation about growing people in the space. And so that is what the green economy has presented. And I'd like to showcase or show you a few things about that. So hold on one second. Oh, it's going to take a minute to upload. So we'll just revisit that another time. Any given Monday, this is a conversation. I made it more of a dialogue because how can I top the last interview? In August, we interviewed Wale Coxum of Mocafy, and the reality is that was a great way to end. So for this pivot and this season, our conversations are more around community engagement, social impact, and being able to identify and uplift the dialogue around leveraging golf as a tool for business, entering into the green economy, and focused on what are the different conversations we could have. So for NYU, we most recently talked about defining a leader. The conversation for this and the narrative and the way in which we were presenting is your individual style can define you as a leader, and being able to identify when you are running your company, how do you attract more talent? If you are struggling with retention of clients or retention of customers or retention of staff, how do we define your own leadership style? Because sometimes it is a moment to look in the mirror, and that's how coaching can support you. Another area that I mentioned before is unleashing your potential. How do we help others identify transferable skills for career changes? And in the end, we're also looking at how do we support our community and build community. As a result, I am a key sponsor in the Friend of Life Golf fundraiser, where they're focused on good energy. We have a new board. I am still on the board of this organization, and our focus there is really helping children see themselves in new markets. So those are three of the things that we're working on at N18. I think one of the conversations that you might want to have with us is, well, how can you help our employees, or how can you help our company? In three ways. One, we help your leaders lead better. And what does that look like? Well, we're focused on the overall reduction of turnover at companies. So, how do you retain employees, and how do you build them so that they grow within the company from one role into another? I think retention is one of the biggest challenges that companies face, mainly because people want to get paid more or they want more responsibility, but that sometimes it's not enough to just promote. Many individuals are looking to grow in their skill set, grow in their responsibility. And how can you empower people to do that? What training and coaching is necessary for them to be successful? Two, we're also looking at individuals that know they want to pivot into other industries. And we'll talk about that on another episode, specifically around the green economy, where I will be inviting new guests to speak about what this industry looks like. Who are some of the power players, or what does being a player in this industry look like? Who are the people that are actively investing in projects? We'll have some guests from different companies. I don't want to name them right now because that's the surprise. I also have a new intern. Her name is Anna, and she'll be publishing articles about the green economy and the work that's being done there. And so if you are thinking about leaving finance or leaving technology, this is a space where you can be extremely successful if you are an attorney that has previously been practicing around IP or litigation around topics related to employment. This is a powerful industry for you to get involved in. And if you're looking at workforce development and looking to grow your market or grow your employees in a way that allows them to stay in that market, well, I'd say that differently. If you are a startup and a company that is looking to have instrumental or make an impactful or have an impactful role, let me say that correctly. If you are a startup that is looking to have an impactful role in the community, and you are looking to train individuals so that they could have wealth generating careers, or careers that are skill based, contact us because we can support you. Some of the conversations that we've seen are, we want to employ people from the community. Well, what does that look like? What does their growth trajectory look like? What does longevity in this market look like? And what skills are they gaining that will allow them to move into leadership roles? We can support you on that, because designing a job just to have someone do manual labor but not have a growth or opportunity to grow in that is a limited way of thinking about growing your workforce. So if you are a startup company looking to develop your workforce and grow it, and you need employees and they don't have the skills yet, how can we support you in building those engineering or those technical skills that will allow you to hire people and grow your own company? Most recently, we attended an event hosted by NextGen. It was called Always Be Closing, and it was hosted at Con Ed. And these different startups that are in the renewable space pitched their business. It was so intriguing to see the companies. But my favorites, I'll tell you about them later, not today, but my favorites were helping to solve a problem that is very visible for communities that have a lot of need to leverage electronic cars, vehicles. They're using the rechargeable batteries. And so that was one of the companies that I was most impressed by. It was very intriguing because it solved a real world, a life problem that we see people experiencing right now. And so for him to scale that business, he's going to need more employees, as many companies do. And they will be raising funds to do so. So once you've gotten an influx of cash, how can you scale your business? We can support you on that. Overall, this was just my opportunity to get back online and talk about a few things that are happening in the world, in the business, and at N18. So if you're looking to play some golf, or you need a strategic business development golf outing planned and structured to help you reach some company goals, you can contact us. If you're looking to coach your teams, we love coaching teams and really help them perform better, looking at it from the holistic model of growing together and advancing the individuals that you've already spent a lot of money and invested in, contact us. And then separately, if you're looking to attend some events around golf, obviously contact us. I forgot, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one of the more important insights that we've gained over the past few years. I have developed a number of training opportunities to teach people how to use golf for their careers. In this, I've discovered that there was a bigger gap around how do you get people more comfortable with their own insecurities of how they hold the club, how they perform on the golf course, and really what is the mindset of the individual that is learning golf. How do you shift their mindset to look at it from more of a growth mindset versus a scarcity? I can't do this, to I am learning to do this so that I can advance my career, or I'm learning to do this so that I can have a sport that will last my entire life, or that I can play for as long as I can walk and swing the club. So one of the challenges that we found in coaching and creating these events, these group training, group golf events, was there was a bigger need around understanding the mindset. And what I realized is that the growth trajectory for that business model um, isn't large. So it's a labor of love. So for those that want to have individual coaching or group coaching on the golf course and that want to learn the game, we are available for you, but that's at a premium because it requires way more coaching than just the instruction. Why I became an instructor or decided to learn how to teach golf was there weren't enough individuals that understood my personal story of why I wanted to learn and what are the challenges I was facing as a woman of color learning golf and trying to insert myself into spaces that I wasn't always welcome. So the conversation and the work that I had to do was around coaching. That is why I became IC certified coach. That is why I became certified US Kids golf instructor. It's all around telling the story of how do I teach you to believe in yourself and to be in spaces that you're not normally welcome. What are the things that you can do to really navigate your way around the course so that you can play socially, so that you can play at golf outings, so that you can play at tournaments? It's more than just the technique. It's more than just the grip, the stance, and the swing. It's more about what's happening up here in your mind. And so the narrative isn't that you'll read a book or a coach will just tell you what to do. It will be a timely emotional journey of learning what it is that makes you a good leader, but what it is that makes you a good golfer. And sometimes those skills are one and the same. And it's less about competition and more about the competition with yourself, less about competition with others. So we don't double down. We haven't decided to host many of those events. If we do, it's going to be one in partnership with another golf pro, mainly to focus on what's happening in your mind. But you will not see us host as many of those events as we did last season. There's a different way to grow the game. There's a different way for us as any team to grow individuals in that game. So where we did double down or where we are focused are training the trainer. So what does that look like? We are training individuals in the school district to teach kids golf because they are the next generation of golfers. And if they believe in the ability to lead through golf, we think that they'll be stronger leaders. And when they return to the game as adults, they'll be more confident and have a belief in themselves to do that. So that is one of the other areas, which I forgot to mention, that we are offering services directly to schools and leaders in schools. Other than that, those are all of the things that we're working on. I will have guests going forward because it's hard to talk by yourself to yourself about what you're doing. But I did want to share that and give you the opportunity to understand, why do LJ's posts look this way? Well, it's because we're telling the story and this is what we're working on. And we've had the great opportunity to attend a number of events. You will see us this Thursday at the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce's conference on energy. Why? Because we are obviously training people and we are coaching people to step into that market unapologetically and be able to help build the green economy in the way that we haven't in the past participated. Diversity can't be an afterthought. It has to be in the forefront of the mind. Otherwise, you'll spend more time trying to figure out how to include others in that conversation. So we are focused on doing that. Stay tuned for more information. I may just do a presentation on our social impact conference, which will be held in Miami. Save the date. It is in April of 2025, the 6th through the 9th, I believe, or the 7th through the 9th, sorry. And we will be bringing together leaders in the energy space and focusing on social impact. So I look forward to sharing more information about that. And that is the end of our stream. So really, thank you for joining me today on this ad hoc way of doing Any Given Monday. It will be very specific top. There will be very specific topics and guests going forward, but I wanted to relaunch and to rebrand and to pivot and share Book Us for Speaking, Book Us for Team Building and Coaching, and Book Us if you're looking to switch industries. And that's all she wrote. So thank you for joining.